I'm Zaina and I'm the Jump Buddy for biology. So I know that you guys have had your taster sessions not long ago and you have either picked or are picking your A-level subjects. So I wanted to help you out by giving you a student perspective on biology. I have picked it. I took triple science and GCSE and then I picked it for my A-levels and I'm currently doing it for AS. So first of all, let's start with the content. In A-level, biology has 4 units. The first 2 are taught in AS, and then the second 2 are taught in A2. So the first 2, you get tested on paper 1 and paper 2. Paper 1 is in January and paper 2 is in June. This division makes it easier for people who don't like having a huge workload because you get it out of your way and it gives you more chances to resit it in case you're not happy with the mark or the grade. So that's really beneficial because, for example, instead of having like 4 mocks, now we're having mocks coming up soon in February. Instead of having 4, we're having 3 because that has been off the table. Or instead of 5, we're having 3 because we're still learning unit 2 right now. So that's content-wise. And then in A2, which I haven't gotten to yet, but what we've been told is that you get tested on all the 4 units in 3 papers. So paper 1, 2, and 3. And then 3 supposedly combines both paper 1 and 2, which seems really scary, but they're telling us not to be scared. So the main skill in biology, and that is probably known to everyone because everyone takes science, is memorization. And I can't deny that bio is mainly focused on memorization. However, if you think you don't necessarily have to be good at memorization because there are many different ways for you to memorize. It's not like a skill that people are born with. I'm good at memorization, but that's not the reason I picked it. I picked it because I really find it interesting. So I would say that if you still haven't picked it or if you're hesitant about it, think about if you have an idea, because you probably don't yet. I personally am not too sure what I want to get into when I grow up, when I graduate. But I would say think about the majors you want to get in. Anything that's like medicine related or related to the way that our body works or the animal's body or any living organism, in a matter of fact, not plants though, I hate plants. Nothing personal, I just don't like studying them. But if you're interested in that, then bio is going to be very interesting for you in A-level because like everything gets a lot more detailed. And to me, that is less of a burden and more of, it makes it easier because I'm studying a subject that I'm actually enjoying and I'm interested in. So the main skill would be memorization. So if you feel like you are not good at that field, I would say maybe just revise yourself because it's mainly memorizing. Like, of course, you have to understand it, you have to like it, you have to understand what's going on, but then you're gonna need to memorize what's happening so that you can apply it during a test or an exam. Workload-wise, I would say the workload for biology is pretty decent. It's not overboard, but it's also not, it's definitely a lot more than at GCSE. So I have a lesson with Mr. Edmonds on Mondays, once per week, and then I have 3 other lessons throughout the week. So usually Mr. Edmonds will set us a task on Monday, and it will obviously be due to the next lesson. So I have like a good week to get that task done. Whether it's a lot or not, usually I am able to get it done with. And then in the 3 lessons, I get assigned smaller tasks because they are back-to-back. So I have a double lesson on, I have a double lesson on Thursday and I have 1 lesson on Tuesday. So usually on Thursday, I'll get assigned the homework due Tuesday. Overall, I'd say the workload is it's not little bit, but it's not as much as you would expect. Like some other subjects, for example, math, would require a lot more work than that. Now, speaking of math, bio is mainly related to words, application, knowledge, memorizing, and all that. But just for people who are not fans of math, there's a whole list of math skills that are required. They're mainly very simple math skills, but math skills are involved in biology. You will be writing equations, you will be calculating I don't know, equations. You will be sketching graphs, filling in tables. Sorry. And yeah, so there are math skills required in biology. Now, for the AO1, AO2, AO3, and AO4. So AO1 is knowledge. That one contains the most marks for sure, because you are mainly being tested on whether you know this stuff or not, which is why memorization is very important, because it's either you know that this, or you don't. And then there's AO2. AO2, I feel like the most questions come out of it, but according to the spec, it's not. But basically, it's application. And that application is usually to an example which could be completely unrelated. So they will give you like a situation or a study that you have never heard of. However, you will be asked to apply whatever concept that you've learned to that example. So if we've learned about gas exchange between organisms, they can give us the gas exchange system of, I don't know, a horse, a fish. Like, the fish is not required, but you're gonna have to apply the principles and concepts of gas exchange to the gas exchange system to the fish. And then the third, AO3, this one has the second most marks, and this is being able to analyze and interpret data and information, and that includes like in different forms. So that includes tables. There are lots of tables. You might be asked to sketch many graphs, practicals, etc. So it's all about knowing the principles and the concepts. Sometimes it will be few marks for a question, so you just have to show your knowledge, your evidence. Most of them I'd say are 3 markers so far. And then there is applying your knowledge to something that you may not necessarily be familiar with, and filling in tables, interpreting graphs, being able to describe and explain the graph, so what's happening in the graph and why that's happening. And the fourth is evaluating practicals and improving them and adjusting them. So I would say biology does not have as many practicals as chemistry or as physics, but something I have noticed is that in A-level bio, the practical questions are a lot less than in GCSE. So they're still there, and you obviously have to be able to answer questions on how can you improve this practical, what could you replace using this with another thing, etc., etc. It combines from being an easy and not such a heavy subject, as well as being a very important one and essential if you want to get into anything that has to do with medicine, biology, just in general, any study that has to do with living organisms. Yeah, I hope that helped, and don't hesitate to ask me any questions if you see me around. If you don't, then ask for me. I am more than happy to help you, give you tips on how to study it, how to memorize the things, and I hope that helped. Thank you. However, overall, I'd say that you are not required to memorize as many practicals, not as much detail, just the main important bits, because you're less likely to have to write down how to do a practical, but more like get an example and have to answer questions such as how can you improve it, evaluate it, what went wrong, adjust it, etc., etc. So these are the main things that you will know about. These are the main things that I can tell you about biology. And I think it's a great subject to take, because